everyone, welcome back to Style with Substance. Today, as the title suggests, I am going to be giving you my tips and tricks to make your weave or extensions look real. I was inspired to do this video for a number of reasons. One, this gets mistaken for my real hair quite a bit, which I find great, obviously, because that means I've done a good job at, I guess, maintaining it and, you know, making sure it looks really, I guess, real. But two, because I've seen some shockers. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen a lot of people who make what I feel like are classic mistakes when it comes to having weave in or getting extensions put in. And now this is not my way of knocking how anyone else chooses to do their weave, but this is just what works for me and I guess what creates the illusion that this is my real hair. So without further ado, if you want to hear my tips for making your weave look real, keep watching. So my first tip is the type of hair that you get. Now, everybody has a preference naturally, but I think particularly for women of African descent or Afro-Caribbean women, if your hair is naturally Afro texture, then you know it's quite difficult to match. Now some people like the silky type hair, sort of European type texture, and some people feel that you know, it looks smarter for work purposes or makes you look more professional or more well put together. That's absolutely fine. But I will say that that shouldn't necessarily be your only reason for choosing that type of hair. I personally use yaki texture hair, even though my hair is relaxed, and I know a lot of people say that they get that straight texture hair because their hair is relaxed and they want it to resemble the straightness of their hair, but I don't necessarily think that that's the only way to do it. My hair's relaxed, so most of the time it's actually naturally straight. Well, not naturally, chemically straight, but I get yaki texture hair, and I think that you can make yaki texture hair look just as smart and sleek as you can with that European texture hair. I also think it blends better with your natural hair, because your natural hair, even if it is relaxed, at the roots it has that yaki texture. So some of the brands that I used to get is a brand of hair called Feel, Adorable, brand of hair called Janet. If you just walk into your local hair supply or beauty supply store and ask them for yaki texture hair, or even just look through the aisles yourself, you can feel it. It's not silky at all, but it's kind of got a bit of body to it. And I think that's also another thing that makes it seem real. That body, that thickness, that very much resembles what Afro hair looks like, especially for those of you that ever had your hair hot combed when you were a child. I sympathise with you because I too had to go through that traumatic experience. Those are the days before relaxer. If you've had your hair hot combed and you have naturally Afro hair, the yaki hair actually resembles the texture of your hair when it's been the texture of natural hair that has been hot combed. That's why I love it. This hair is yaki hair at the moment, and ways in which to tidy it up and make it look more presentable, if that's a big issue of yours, is one, a paddle brush. So I bought this, and I'll just show you kind of how it goes through. So I let my hair get a little bit messy, but it just literally puts it all into place. Done. And I don't know, that's because of the bristles on it. It's very wide, so it can get through a great deal of hair in a very short space of time. The second thing you can do is oil sheen spray. I use the olive oil from ORS sheen spray, and I spray that at the roots of my hair. I also spray it at the tips of my hair. Now, one thing that makes weave not look real is when it gets really dry and really tangled and really coarse, and that can happen to the straight type or the yaki type. So what you want to do, especially if you want to get that salon fresh look, is I tend to spray that at the roots, at the tips, and then just comb through my hair, and then it gives it a bit of shine. And I think that's one of the most authentic things that I love about Afro hair, is that whenever I was younger and we used to go to the salon to get our hair done, it would have that natural shine and bounce, and that's the best way of bringing that back into your hair. If you want to kind of go for a bit more of a hardcore measure, you can use gel. And I use a Dark and Lovely quick styling gel. It says super hold, but it actually doesn't hold that much. Now, contrary to popular belief, putting this on your edges, for me, doesn't make your weave look any realer, because when you don't have weave, you generally wouldn't do that anyway. I tend to put it down on the actual body of the hair, just to make sure that any flyaways or any strays are tamed. Then I comb through it and I just let it set like that, so everything's in one place and it will stay that way. And it doesn't mean that, you know, you have to have your little baby hairs like coming out or whatever. It's just so that it looks a bit tidier, if the professionalism thing or wanting to look smart for work is your issue. Another thing which I think is probably single-handedly the most important thing, or the thing that I think gives people the impression that this is my natural hair, is because I generally have a bit of leave out. Now, I've seen a lot of people with weaves where the parting is, well, they have no leave out essentially, and the parting is kind of non-existent. If you want to keep all your hair put away, absolutely fine, and I get that in the winter, when the weather conditions are not conducive to having your natural hair out, absolutely get that, protect it, do whatever you want to do. For me personally, I like to leave a bit out to cover over the tracks, because that's the key thing. You don't want people to see your tracks. Now the problem comes along when your leave out is just kind of getting a bit old, I would say, and then your leave out becomes more coarse, but your hair is still straight, obviously, or you know, very smooth and very sleek and very long, and your leave out isn't blending with your hair. So what I then do is I'll let my hair kind of build up a bit of regrowth, because I don't think you should put weave in on freshly relaxed hair, because at that point it's the finest it's ever been, especially at the root. And while they're pulling to put the cornrows in, they're pulling at your natural hair, and then it's at its weakest, having just been chemically straightened. So I tend to leave it for 2 weeks or so, let a bit of regrowth build up, then I go get my weave put in, have my leave out, and what I then do is, after a couple of weeks pass, is I relax my leave out. I use something which is very mild. I actually use Kids Relaxer, so it's the Dark and Lovely Beautiful Beginnings Soft and Straight, and this is for fine hair types. I relax just the leave out, so I tie the rest of my hair back, put the relaxer cream in myself. I don't go to the salon to do it, because to be honest, this pack itself costs $3.29, and to just relax like one little tuft of hair, I don't know what they charge me, so I just do it myself. I wouldn't recommend that if you've never done it before. Go and get a professional to do it, but I've been relaxing my own hair for years, so that's why I do it. So I relax my leave out, then it just looks really sleek, and it looks like your leave out is coming directly from the roots, really straight. And when it's straight and smooth, it blends in really well with your weave. That's all there is to it. Relaxer, making sure you brush your hair, spraying it with oil to give it a bit more bounce, gelling it down, buying yucky or natural texture hair, or hair that resembles the natural texture of your own hair. That's all there is to it. So this is me not being preachy, you know, not telling you how to do your hair, but a number of people have asked me how I get my weave to look as real as it does. You might not think it looks real. That's absolutely fine by me. I'm happy with how it looks. I know what my real hair looks like, so obviously I know this isn't exactly what my real hair would look like. I've always had traditionally very short hair, but this is what works for me. If you found that in any way useful, great. If you did not to worry. I've got plenty more videos to come. But otherwise, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Hope it's given you some tips and some ideas that you can use. And by all means, comment below and let me know of any tips or tricks that you guys use to kind of make your real hair blend in seamlessly with your weave. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hey, give it a thumbs up even if you didn't. Subscribe if you haven't already. And please look forward to lots more videos coming from me. Thanks and bye. I just blend that away so it's not too harsh, and then I'm going over it with my Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer, which I recently picked up and really love for highlighting. I have used this actually under my eyes before, but I do prefer the matte